So the jackrabbit factor is fictitious, and it leads up to your meteor.
Yeah.
Now, what is the name of your meteor?
The Hidden Treasures, Heaven's Astonishing Help with Your Money Matters.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, and you know what? And it was about 6 years later I realized that there's such thing as a WYSIWYG. I didn't know that. She taught me HTML, so I'm in there with the code. I'm tears soaking pillows.
Yeah, she'd be like,
oh,
please just look at this. I'm stuck.
Rows. Oh. And then I find out that there's software. You don't need to know code.
I guess I should have told you that.
No.
But you learned it the hard way, and then
I'm
you
so
can do
glad
a lot
Yeah,
more.
you
there's
do.
power in that.
That's great.
So that's our story. And then I got to meet her for the first time because we were shopping for another car and found what we wanted on eBay Motors in Georgia.
So you got
And so
to-
we flew out. It was worth it to fly out, the both of us, and pick it up and drive it home. And while I was there, I did a
Little
little
class.
class at her place. Then it was a write-off.
So did your relationship change when you actually met each other? I mean, it's kind of interesting when you meet someone through correspondence, or did you just instantly feel that connection in person too?
No, I think it was there.
Yeah,
I
so
felt like I was
along,
home.
I think.
I just felt like I was home.
Yeah.
Now, your She Loves God website. Now, tell us a little bit about that now, because that's what first attracted you to Marnie, it sounds like.
Well, She Loves God's just a place for Christian women to come put their stories, poetry, testimonies, whatever they've got into it. And then we do a conference. This is the 10th year.
10?
I think you were with my first year.
No,
Yeah.
I was the second year, I think.
You really? Okay, I can't remember.
It was,
But-
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was the second year. So, so 10 years we've done it every October, and it's all virtual, either teleclasses or videos or audios or things like that. And
Some good stuff on there.
it's been fun.
fantastic.
It's a nice place for people to share their beliefs without bickering or getting into some kind of
Yeah, you go on common ground. It's all
Yeah,
about
it's all
what
common
you have
ground.
in common.
So those, you really don't differentiate between denominations. It really
Mhm.
doesn't matter what denomination you are. You
no,
It's kind of coming across the aisle and sharing the beliefs of.
right. It's just very Christ-centered, very focused on Him, and then everybody seems to get along and play well together.
They
And
play nice.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
it's been a ride. It's been a ride, and that's why it's so fun to come back now, and we both end up here. And
It's fun to me because, somebody was telling me the other day that they had a mentor who kind of begrudged their success, that they didn't want them to succeed. And I think with Leslie, I just am thrilled that she's been able to do
As
so well with that
being
book. It's
successful.
it's like a cult following with that book. Everybody's like, oh, I just love Jackrabbit, because I was giving it away to my customers and stuff. And I don't know why you sent me that book, but boy, I just love it, And to me, that's just makes my day, And Leslie's always been that way with me, If I tell her how much hey, we're up to these revenues, Leslie's like, all right, yeah. Keep going,
Well, my mom loved it. She was
So-
very impressed with it. Makes me want to read it, learn
the
about it.
sequel's almost done.
When do you
Sequel.
think the sequel will be coming out? Do you
Last January.
What are you going to cover? What's it about?
Remember at the end where they come back together and he says what he says, and then someone on the other side of town has an amazing idea.
Right,
We
yeah.
find out who he is.
Oh, so
We
it's
find out
about
who
the
he
idea
is,
and how it works out.
and to introduce him, I had to back up 10 years, and so it's a 10-year prequel about these two other characters. And then the Jackrabbit is actually only a one-day thing. If you think about it, that whole
Right.
thing takes place in one day. And then it's the 12-year span after, between there and the epilogue, that shows how Richard did it.
Oh, okay.
And so you find out who that guy is, what happens, and how it all comes together. So the whole book is 22-year span.
Wow, that's quite
And
I never tried that big of a span before.
No, and I thought I was done, and then I just read through it again, and you could tell the last 4 chapters or so are so rushed. Instead of creating a scenery and dialogue, it's, and then this and this and this happened, and then this and this happened. So burned out. So I got to go back and watch that. It's so
Darn
obvious.
endings. I
It's
know.
so obvious.
Endings, you're so burnt out sometimes by the ending that you're like, just wrap it up.
And the end.
The end. They all lived happily ever after. The end.
Happily ever after. Yeah. No, so.
We're excited. I think that's cool that you're actually digging into that much fiction. I remember sending her some of my fiction, and Leslie's just so, you know, if it's not
Okay.
practical, I'm not going to fool with it, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, Leslie, you can really teach stuff with fiction, you know, here, just try this, look at this. And
There's no other way to go now.
I know,
So I was going to ask you, so how is that now, coming full circle? Because it sounds like you do both, like as well as you.
I don't know. What?
What was that? Well, how has your perception of fiction changed now since you
well,
started?
Yeah, before I just wanted to get right to the point. But if I want to convey the point, it's like wah, 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 wah. You know, it's just Charlie Brown's Parents all over again. And the story is what takes it from here to here.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it creates the emotional experience to make the principles memorable, so that as people are reading it and they're like, that's exactly what I've been through, or that's what I felt. I never thought of handling it that way, you know. So it's powerful.
Yes, I
It's
agree.
powerful.
Well, thank you.